Rain here. Today is another build showcase. This time is Gyre, so let's immediately start. Starting with the shards, I'm not using any, but if I have what to recommend, use the ability strength ones, the crimson ones. She loves strength a lot, so use that. When it comes to her build, I'm using for Aura Dreamer's Bond. It gives me and my entire team energy regeneration, health regeneration. It's pretty good on her. She has no sustain, so this is pretty solid on her. I'm using Prime Shoot-Footed for knockback immunity. I'm using Blind Range, Transitive Fortitude, Innumerable Intensify for ability strength. I'm using Prime Continuity for ability duration, Prime Flow for energy maximum, Overextended and Arcane Stretch for more range, but I lose a little bit of strength. Doesn't matter, range is very important on her and she loves it. And I'm using Cathode Current, which is the augment for third ability. So when I kill stuff, my third ability is on. It'll extend the duration of my third ability. But also what this augment does, when you kill stuff while your fourth ability is also on, it will extend the duration on her fourth ability as well. For the arcanes, I'm using Arcane Blessing for survivability. I'm using Molt Augmented for even more ability strength, so that her abilities give you more buffs, stronger buffs, and more damage. So those are the arcanes. These are the mods. You can use Growing Power, you can use some other auras. I find this very fun and pretty solid. Even if she has a lot of energy regeneration, this pretty much helps it even more and also gives you health regeneration. These are the stats: positive duration, negative efficiency, very good range, and very good strength. When it comes to her abilities, there's pretty much nothing for me to say. Noresh, I replace it with her 1. Her 1 has the worst damage. It also has a delay of a whole second before it does damage in a large AoE that has line of sight, and the whole ability isn't that good. Her 1 is just horrible in my opinion, so I replaced with Noresh to give myself and entire team viral damage in energy multiplier. The energy multiplier works with Dreamer's Bond, so it makes the energy regeneration bigger for you by a lot more, and also works with Arcane Stretch, so when you proc electricity damage on enemies, you get energy regeneration, so it also multiplies the energy regeneration from to Dreamer's Bond and Arcane Stretch. Also, her third ability, when you use it, you also get even more energy regeneration. So you get 3 sources of energy regeneration, making it that you don't need to use Energize at all. That's pretty much it. Your second ability, you pull enemies, does damage. Fourth ability gives you AoE when you shoot your weapons or when enemies are near you. So it's pretty much straightforward. And also her third ability gives you critical chance for your weapons and her abilities, and she is the only Warframe in the entire game that can crit. So every proc of electricity gives you 10% critical chance towards that enemy. So as many procs electricity does more and more and more damage. So yeah, those are the abilities, those are the stats, those are the mods, and those are the arcanes. Her survivability is the weakest part of her entire kit. She's not a glass cannon, nor she's not the best at clearing, nor she's not the best at single target DPSing. She's, in my opinion, a okay Warframe. It doesn't do as much as the others do. Some other Warframes who are more played or slightly less played do more work than she does, but she's very fun when it comes to seeing a lot of numbers everywhere in the entire screen. And yeah, some people use Pillage over this for survivability, but she has barely no survivability, barely no damage reduction, so Pillage will not help that much. Some people use Gloom over Noresh, the same thing. Her sustain is horrible, mostly because she has no health. So when something bursts you down, you will just instantaneously die. So it's better for you to go as much as possible damage to kill enemies quicker before they kill you. And when it comes to doing damage to enemies, she's pretty much very good at killing Corpus enemies, because they are very weak towards electricity, and in general much weaker than Gnir. Electricity barely does no damage towards armored enemies compared to the non-armored enemies like infested and especially corpus. So how does the build work? You press nourish, you press your third ability, you press your fourth ability, you press your second ability, you pull enemies doing a lot of damage, and they all dead. As you can see at bottom right, that my third ability lasts for another 50 seconds, my ultimate lasts for 70 seconds, nourish, you'll press it every like 20 seconds to have it always on you and your entire team. You can also see that my energy generation is already filled me up to the max. So when I press my second ability, I'm already at max energy. As you can see, it's giving me such a massive energy generation that I can just spam her second ability. And I'm still going to get all the energy back in seconds. She's very good at killing corpus. If you want a corpus killer, she's pretty much very fast. These are level 195 corpus decks. It's a steel path version. Corpus decks hit like a truck. CCing them with your ultimate or any electricity or dealing electricity damage to them is very good. Use your second ability as well. CCing them, and then you see a bunch of red numbers, mostly because I stacked up a lot of electricity on them. And you do need to remember that her passive is the more electricity that you have on enemies. Her ult and her other abilities, which is her second ability, will do even more damage because they can crit for higher. And you start seeing these sexy and beautiful red numbers. You start seeing orange, then you start seeing red, and it's beautiful. So yeah, it's straightforward. Give yourself viral from Nourish. You don't need to build viral on your weapons. You can build corrosion. What I do, I use Umprex, just electricity version. Because if you need to remember again, I'll remind you that when you proc electricity in enemies, your abilities will do more damage. So just using the electricity on Umprex with Nourish on will give you a lot of damage and a lot of DPS and a lot of clear. And so yeah, this was the build. I've been using this build since she was released. For higher level content, it becomes much harder for her. She starts heavily dropping off heavily, and I don't like that about her. But for like low level missions and just zooming through the maps, especially Corpus style sets, she's very good. So yeah, this was the build. I hope you enjoyed the build. I hope you subscribe for more. I'm going to be making pretty much daily YouTube videos. I hope you also follow me on Twitch. I do stream on Twitch. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.